Hello again, I'm Bob Weir with a continuing series of interviews of notable people in North Texas. My guest today is Sean Kilgore, who is running in the March 2018 primary for the Republican nomination for Criminal Court Judge number 2 in Denton County. Thank you for being here, Sean.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Mr. Kilgore's opponent, Susan Peel, was interviewed about a month ago. Please give our viewers some background information such as education, experience, etc.
Yes, sir. I was born in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Galveston, Texas. I went to O'Connell High School, Catholic high school there in Galveston. Graduated from there and decided to go to a small, very, very small college out in Virginia called Hampton-Sydney College. It's one of the last all-male, non-military institutions left in the country. Went out there to get my undergraduate degree. And then worked for a year in Virginia, and then moved over to London and spent a year there getting a master's degree before I came back and decided to go to law school at Texas Tech.
All right, about the office you're running for, Criminal Court number 2, what types of crimes are handled in Denton Criminal Courts?
The Denton Criminal Courts handle misdemeanor cases, Class B and above, Class B and Class A. So you're basically going to be handling cases that have anywhere of a maximum of 6 months to a year in the county jail as punishment, 0 to $2,000 or $4,000 fine, depending on the level. No felonies are handled. It's all misdemeanor cases. So you have a variety of things like theft, DWI, possession of marijuana. Those type of cases are handled there.
So you never handle felonies?
No, sir. There might be times that a case has an accompanying felony with it, but that would be handled by a district court.
That goes to the district court?
Yes,
okay. These criminal court cases, are they handled by jury trials?
Yes, sir. Sometimes the defense will choose to go to the judge and have a judge make a ruling, or of course they always have the right to go to a jury and have a jury decide their guilt.
And these are, no civil cases are in it?
No, sir. These are strictly criminal courts.
All right, and you already talked about maximum penalties.
Yes, sir.
How many criminal courts are there in the county?
We have 5 criminal courts right now. Judge Crouch, Judge Valenkamp, who's the judge that's retiring in County Criminal Court number 2. Judge Garcia, Judge Bridges, and I believe Chance Oliver is running for his bench because he's retiring. And then Judge Waddell in Court 5.
So these criminal courts, are they located centrally in one place? Or?
Yes, sir. All the courts are actually in the city of Denton at the Denton County Courthouse. They handle cases from all over the county, but that is the central place where all the business takes place.
So when a crime is committed in Denton County, what determines which criminal court it goes to?
If it's the first time for the person to come into the criminal justice system, it will be randomly assigned to one of those courts, unless it's a family violence case. Judge Crouch's court, Court 1, handles all the family violence type offenses that are misdemeanor here in Denton County. Otherwise, your cases randomly could end up in one of those courts. Now, if you have a prior case that, say, had been handled in Court 2 6 years ago, then you will be put back in Court 2 for your next case. So it starts randomly, and then you get assigned a court, and then unless, like, you pick up, I guess you could start with, say, a DWI, and then 6 years later pick up a assault family violence type case, then all your stuff would move to Judge Crouch's court, Court 1. But if you picked up a DWI, then you pick up another DWI or a theft or something like that, you would stay with that particular court that you had when you first came into the system.
So there is a formula involved.
Yes, sir. It is. It starts random, but once you get done with that random, you're pretty much going to be in that court for the rest of the time.
All right. Tell us about the Denton County Veterans Treatment Court and the part that you played in it.
Yes, sir. That is by far the most interesting, the most, dare I say, fun part of my job. That gives me the best fulfillment. About 5 years ago in late 2011, early 2012, I was approached by Forrest Beadle, who's an associate district attorney at the DA's office. He and I were friends in law school and continued to be friends when we were both working at the DA's office. He approached me, asked me if I would like to be the attorney to represent the veterans as they go through this new court that he was helping create with Judge Garcia. And so I went and sat down with Judge Garcia and talked to him a little bit about what he imagined this court to be. And so we started developing procedures and policies and stuff like that as to how we were going to handle helping the vets that are coming into our system due to combat-related injury, military sexual trauma, traumatic brain injury. If that has a nexus with their criminal case, then they're subject to being allowed into the Denton County Veterans Treatment Court. And so I got to sit down and work with Forrest and work with Judge Garcia about what are our policies, what are our guidelines, how are we going to operate this court. And I've been with that court since its inception.
So it only handles veterans, though?
Yes, sir. It's strictly a veterans treatment court.
All right, and the veteran would have to kind of how should I call it? It have to be a certain case for a veteran to go there. In other words, qualify. I'm looking for the word.
Yes, sir. In order to get entry into the court, their case has to have some sort of, I'm trying to not use the legal jargon here, some sort of relation to either traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, or military sexual trauma that they experienced while they were in the military serving. And if they have that nexus, then they're subject to being allowed in the court. It's not, the way I tend to describe it to the veterans that come into my office and they ask about it, it's not necessarily a court set up for just a person who was in the military. It's a court set up for someone that, because of their service, they have now been, due to some reason, have found themselves in the criminal justice
Like
system.
PTSD, for an example.
Absolutely.
They also for felonies?
Yes, sir. We do handle some felonies. Again, there are certain guidelines that the district attorney's office puts out as to what they're willing to accept and not accept in the court. And the way the Texas statute is written, the district attorney, Paul Johnson, or whoever he designates, has the right to decide who gets in and who doesn't get in the court.
So the DA decides.
Yes, sir.
How about your connection with the Denton County Republican Party? How long have you been part of that?
Well, I moved to the county in 2006 to start my job at the DA's office. And since that time, I've done things such as working polls, walking blocks, participated in a couple phone banks for a couple candidates. I haven't been a very active member of the Denton GOP because that's how I chose to do my activity. More related to working behind the scenes more than actually kind of showing up there and throwing my face out there. Just trying to help candidates that I knew, I respected, and I believe would do a very good job in their position, kind of help them in their elections.
In your judicial philosophy, you talk about being a strict constructionist of the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
What is meant by that?
Well, what I mean by that is, if it's not written on the paper, you can't do it. That's my feeling. I think that's what makes our judicial system fair when the law is applied that way. I think judges and or attorneys that go into court and try to squeeze, bend, alter the meanings of what a law is and why it was passed do a disservice to us all, because what makes the system fair is we have a set group of laws that are sat down and written, and we follow those laws and we apply those laws. And they should be followed and applied as they were written, not as some judge or an attorney who has a predetermined conclusion gets in there and tries to mangle it. That's where my feeling on how you should treat constitutional issues comes into play, is if it's not there, you can't do it.
And by doing that, it keeps judges from legislating from the bench.
Absolutely.
They have a set of guidelines and they have to follow those. So, and a lot of that is being done today, I think, across the country.
Yes, sir. You don't see it as much on the trial court level, but you do see it a lot in the appellate courts. Absolutely.
Right. Have you ever held elective office before?
No, sir, I have not. Again, I've worked with a lot of elected officials, but I've never actually been elected to an office before. This is my first election.
Okay. How about appointments to public office?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me ask you about campaigning. What type of campaigning will you be doing?
Oh, we're going to be hitting as many areas as we can with door to door. This is the part I enjoy about elections, is meeting people and talking to people. Not so much the trying to raise money and those type of things, but more the talking to people, expressing your views, expressing your thoughts, and trying to get your idea and your thought process across as to why you want the position. That's the part of the job I like, or the part of the election process I like.
Yeah, it's an education too.
Absolutely.
Going
Yes,
out
sir.
there, meeting people door to door, that's quite, you learn a lot from people.
Absolutely.
If you have anything else that you'd like to add?
I'd just like to say very quickly that, again, as Bob mentioned, I work very hard with the Denton County Veterans Treatment Court. We meet twice a month to go over all our veterans cases, but we also contact each other through voice, email, texting. And while I would love your support for a position as Denton County Criminal Court No. 2's judge, I'd also say to all those folks out there, if you're a veteran and you need help, even if you don't have a criminal case, get in contact with someone in our program, because we can put you in touch with the people that can help you out.
All right, the information on your website will be in the written portion of this. So I want to thank you, Sean, for being here, and good luck in the campaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.